This is Castor's first time seeing the mat, so he hasn't seen it before. I want him to stand on it. He's not super afraid of a whole lot of things, so he's already seen like the tarp and plastic stuff like that. So here he's just trying to get as close to me as possible. So this session isn't the best. It's a little bit messy. It's a little bit more of me doing some problem solving and stuff like that. But there, now his front feet get on it, so I'm gonna reward him there. But really, he's not even focused on the mat at all. He's more focused on getting as close to me as possible. So, like you've seen in the previous videos, I needed to go back and work on a stay with him, and the mat's gonna help that. So I should have just started doing that just earlier on in his training, and that would have helped. And then again, having the different cues. Like he thinks anytime I move, he needs to follow me and be right next to me because the reinforcement might leave. And so he has a little bit of anxiety about that. So that's where all of this is coming from, where as soon as I move a little bit, he's just trying to follow me, or like that shoulder shuffled over, like when I backed up a little bit, he's just trying to get as close, like here, as possible as he can. And so the time, see, he's a little frustrated there. He's kind of stamping his foot down. He doesn't really understand what it is that I want. Like he's just kind of following me back and forth, and he's not attaching that when you stand here on the mat, you get reinforcement. So I shouldn't have been as worried about his hoof placement in the beginning as I was here, and just, even a little bit of his hoof on the mat, feed and reward. And then every time he's on the mat, I need to just reward it. So um, I was too worried about, oh, he doesn't have, yeah, I was looking for that where he's got both feet on it like that. But this is his first time seeing it. Like he's scooting toward me because he's thinking about me and just being as close to me as he can, then attaching, oh, when I stand on the mat, I get fed. So by teaching this early on, then you have that where he wants to stand on the mat and he knows that you'll come back and feed him. Like Castor doesn't know that right now. He thinks he needs to stay with me as close as possible so that I'll feed him. So this isn't a perfect video, but it's a good learning experience. And if you watch the next one about the mat, you can see a big difference already. And I wasn't doing the best of jobs, but you can see there's a lot less movement. He's starting to understand. See, as soon as I leave here, he's like, I need to be right next to you. I need to be right next to you immediately. And I'm asking him to back up. He doesn't want to back up. He wants to just stand right next to me. So it's very, very important that you teach him where to lead and to stay away from you and to lead when you ask, because you can get all of this behavior. And he is listening, but like he's like almost not frantically, but he's using a lot of energy to follow me around. And I don't want my session to look like that and have to put pressure on him to get him away from me. So I went to go get my target. I have my target here. He's a lot better because I can focus him on it, but I could have done it without the target as well. He was just too focused on following me, and I had inadvertently trained him to follow and stay close to me and get the reinforcement from me that way. So by teaching him to stay on the mat and to just stay in general, or like if like it's very similar with like tying, of how I teach tying is I'll gradually build up the distance I am away from him so he knows, like I'll click him and I'll be right back to feed him. He gets rewarded for staying in this spot and not necessarily being with me all the time. So this is helping him out. He's staying on the mat better and he's a little bit more clear, but he just wants to come next to me. Like that's where you see all this forward movement. And I get like I got really stuck on I got really stuck on him having both feet like even on the mat, and that doesn't matter in the beginning. So even if he had like a quarter inch of the mat on his hoof, like that's all you should reward. And the horse will soon figure out that putting the foot on the mat is what you want, and then you can shape that to have the two feet on there evenly if that's what you want. But I was way too stuck on that in the beginning, and like you can use your target like this in the beginning to put him on the mat, and then I should have been reinforcing faster. So my rate of reinforcement wasn't fast enough either. So just like in the calm default, like this is much better here where I've given him like 3 treats in a row. But like in the calm default, he added in all these other junk behaviors with the head turning and the leaning. Like here he's turning his head away. Because I wasn't fast enough in showing him, yes, this is what I want, this is what I want, this is what I want, and then building it up slowly. So I should have clicked, 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 clicked for his feet being on the mat at any position as long as they're touching, and then built up 1 second with him on the mat, click, 1 second, click, 1 second, click, then two. then 3, then 4, then 5, then whatever. So I have the same problem as I watch this back with almost all of my behaviors was I wasn't being very, very clear with a high rate of reinforcement and then building it up slowly. So, but this was his first interaction. I'm giving him a jackpot on the mat. I probably should have started with that where I'm just feeding him on the mat just like I did with the tarp. But you live and you learn. So this is his jackpot and his end of session signal. And then you can see in the next clip with him that the improvement, even though we're not doing it perfectly, he does improve quite a bit. So